Welcome to the show. Bless Madonna.
The 5 best things I've ever written, no one has ever heard. You can stick around in dance music for like 30 years and most of it not get paid, then there is something in you that is broken and which will never be fixed.
What is it about the French that they're just so good?
They're cool.
They're so cool.
Hand to God, and I have photographic evidence of this, which I will show the world someday.
So we're live, but let's keep going. Studio got robbed. Talk to me about this.
Oh, hi. Yeah, so I was, get straight in. No, listen. I was saying I don't have a microphone because I literally don't know where one that I own is. I was on a plane going to America and South America. I was just on tour with Moody Man in South America, which is as awesome and weird and cool as it sounds. And as the flight was taking off, my studio partner, Pat, messaged me. I knew it was real serious. He says, Margie is my nickname. Yeah. Margie, call me as soon as you land. It is urgent. And I thought, he has never, I've text back, type fast, what happened? And he's like, the studio got robbed. And we were in a building that was a co-working space, like multiple fobs to get on multiple floors. Somebody got a hold of one, I don't know yet, but they used a fire extinguisher to break through my security door and the other door, and they took my computer, and all of that is just as I was taking off. And my husband, who is a saint, obviously, because he tolerates me, but he went over there. He went over there and helped get everything else out. And all I got to say is, whoever robbed us, you're a dumb person, because the only thing you took was the only thing that you cannot really do anything with. And there was things that were worth a lot more that you just didn't. But it just carried them right out. But you took that MacBook.
Is that all they took?
No, they took a Mac Tower that weighs about the same as a Volkswagen and works about as well as, like, a bicycle with a flat tire. So goodbye to all this.
That's karma, right? For them, not on you. For them,
yeah.
The worst thing out of the studio.
I probably had it coming.
Yeah, true. We all do, right?
We all do
at some point in our life. How are you anyway? How's life?
It's good.
Yeah, good. Last time I saw you, we were both pretty much just running to get on a plane. I don't know where from.
Detroit. It was Detroit.
Oh, it was movement.
That's right. Yeah, when there had been the tornadoes.
Dude, and that's nearly a year ago.
Yeah, every flight was canceled, and we were all trying to get somewhere that we could barely get to.
We just wanted to get home.
I just wanted to get anywhere. Just anywhere. Or just stay in Detroit. That would have been good too.
Yeah. I love Detroit.
Oh, I do too. I can't wait to go back this year.
I know, same.
I'm going to go to Soulscape.
Moody's. Is he doing one during movement?
Yeah, he was like, I'll see you on 87th Street. I was like,
peace. You know what? I've actually never met Moody Man.
Kenny's the best.
All the years I've lived in Detroit, I've never met him.
Crazy.
I know. I had this thing. It may be just I don't know why I always felt really weird being a person that moved to Detroit, and I always really wanted to like respect the people. I didn't want to go into Detroit and go, I'm the fucking English dude that's moved in. Let me get to know all of you. Like it always felt like I wanted to just naturally be introduced to them rather than like try and force it.
You don't want to be a colonizer.
Exactly. We did that enough.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Kentucky, and I started going to Detroit when I was a kid. So I too am not from Detroit, but I am from the Midwest as a whole. And it's almost, it's a one unit.
Yeah, totally. But I'm gutted because I don't live there anymore, but I'm gutted I've never really met him.
We'll fix that.
We need to fix
Can you roller skate?
One day. I can actually. I can blade. I used to blade as a kid.
Oh, you're good. Let's go.
Let's go.
You can see me skate poorly. I'll
Could you
probably break
imagine?
my leg.
Could you imagine us two going around?
I mean, I go to Soul Skate, so I'm.
I've never been to one. Never been to one.
Well, it's the uniquely American combination of disco and roller skating, which has never really gone away,
Mm.
and
I've
it's pretty nice.
I've always wanted to do a party like them, like what Moody Man does. It's just not a very British thing in the UK. Like we used to do it as kids. I used to go to like roller discos,
Yeah,
which is fun, but it's just not a British thing.
yeah. It's Americans. Black Americans never stopped roller skating to disco.
No,
It's a
no.
beautiful thing.
Talking of disco, Godspeed. Just listening to it.
How'd I do?
It's fucking great, man. Like I love it. Genuinely, like when did it come out?
Uh,
October 18th.
October. Yeah.
So I put an album out 3 weeks after yours as
Right.
well. And yeah, I've been consuming Godspeed over the last like few months, a bit more and more and more.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
like when you listen to albums the first time, you're like, okay, I need to give it more time. Okay, I need to give it more time. And then you give it more time. And then it's like, okay, I get it now. And I think that's what an album's about for me anyway.
Oh,
It's
for
like,
sure.
has to
Yeah.
be time.
In the beginning of listening to anything, it's always kind of, we're all now, skipping through the tracks, people. Like we
Yeah.
all do it.
Yeah, of course.
I do the same. I just have gone back, and I even remixed a song on this particular album, but I've been listening to the last Florence and the Machine album all the time.
Yeah.
And it is as if it came out yesterday and she wrote it only for me.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it
amazing
is
how music does that, right? It's amazing how like you can make it so personal about you because like, obviously you write songs, you've written songs for years, and I think sometimes you write a song for a purpose, right? And the purpose is so solely for your purpose and whatever that is about. And I think when the music gets put into the world sphere, that music is now for the listener, and they can make it their own.
Yeah, once it gets out of the cage, anything's possible. Let me tell you.
I know, right? And people make up their own stories about what it's about, and
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Do you ever see a video of the guy that showed up at John Lennon's house
No,
trying to explain to him how, like, what the White Album meant? And John Lennon's like, mate, just like, okay, like,
fuck off.
sit down. No, he let him. He sat down and gave him breakfast.
That's the most
And
John Lennon thing.
he's like, yeah, that's not really what that's about. Like, I understand you have strong feelings about this. It's actually like, I mean, it's a little bit haunting because later on, the same kind of guy shoots him.
Yeah,
So you sort of see like the ways that can spin out. If you hear a noise on the floor, it's not. I'm not holding anyone hostage, but I am being held hostage by my
By a
dog,
dog.
who's very concerned because Dad left.
Oh shit!
And now it's just me.
Now your
And
mom and dad.
usually I'm the one that leaves.
Yeah.
So he's like he would like to make eye contact at all times. I'm just like, come sit on my foot and I'll touch your head. It's fine. But yeah, I definitely, and I think the best songs, and especially I think with Florence, because I mean that album is literally it's explicitly about being on tour and not being on tour and deciding whether to have kids. And I'm like, oh, the first line on it is that we argued in the kitchen about whether to have children. And I'm just like,
this is too close to home.
Get out of my house.
Yeah. It is amazing. I there's something also about albums that I feel like I can always go back to. Like I can always go back to albums that I've listened to over the years, like Frank Ocean's The Orange albums, for
Oh
me is
yeah.
just like I can just put it on in the car, and I'm just
It's
like, this is just iconically beautiful music that I will never get bored of.
it's like a permanent reference. You know, like when I'm in a session, there are songs and artists that come up. Like I'm always kind of thinking about songs in relationship
Yeah.
to like every other song. And I am just, and I have said this many times, but I think it bears repeating. You know, I'm just like whatever all of those albums and songs are.
Mm,
And not there's the only thing original about me is whatever happened to me.
yeah.
And there are accidents, but mainly you're just kind of like you're like a hapless bystander.
Mm,
Um, especially when you get into like album mode,
yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're writing like when you start working through daddy issues, like at that point, whatever is gonna happen. Like
Kentucky's
you're
coming
not.
out, baby.
Oh man, it's like a public bowel movement. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think it's also it's your first album, right? I know
Yeah, and
you
I
did the
think
DJ mix, but
yeah,
first, like,
I've been promising it for like 8
years.
years.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and some
yeah.
of those songs I've been working on
Mm,
for 8 years.
yeah. It's a process though, right? I think it's I don't know, for
Yes.
me, I'm like a bit psycho. So I kind of was like, okay, Will, you're allowed a year to write a record. Like, go write it in a year, and be very like specific of start April. I literally started April the 5th and ended on April the 21st or something like that.
Uh, do not tell my management that that is something that someone can do. Because I'm in big trouble.
I'd still be writing it now if not.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, they did eventually just call time on it. They're like, okay, it's been 3 years.
Yeah. Time out.
Wrap it up. I was like, all right, well,
Let's
how
get some
many songs do you
interludes in
have?
here.
200. I think over 3 years
Yeah.
between the three studios I worked in, we wrote 200 songs.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot of songs.
It is a lot. But I there's something amazing about having a body of work of 200 records, some absolutely terrible, some you absolutely love that no one will ever hear. Like I love those are my favorite ones, that you write a record, and I don't know if you did this, but writing a record, I know this is massive, but it just
Mm.
doesn't work as a Will Clarke record or a Bless Madonna
Oh,
record.
that's a huge and that was something that was really like a fight for me for a second to be
Yeah.
like because everybody needed me to finish my album.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were all doing their jobs by keeping me focused on it, but I was not able. It was like every day I'm going to go in and I'm going to throw paint at the wall and we'll see what happens. And then some of those songs got picked off for other things or they're still sitting there. I think probably the five best things I've ever written no one has ever heard,
Yeah.
and they probably will come out as me. I just didn't know how to I didn't know how to make it I didn't know how to make it work. But the writing, like the getting down to like the bones of it, that part of it has that part of it I'm confident in, and I have a bundle of things that I think are I think really outside of anything that I've done before,
Mm.
but maybe even to the degree that like it's like
Yeah. It's really interesting you say that though, because I don't know your thoughts. When you're writing straight up club records, right? It's almost a tool, in my opinion, that we know what works on a dance floor. We know, like, it's not we've been doing it for years. It's not hard to make a club record. I think the difference of what we're talking about is club records and actual songs.
Yeah, there are tracks and there are songs, and that doesn't mean that one intrinsically has more value than another, because
Not at all.
like the Percolator is a track, but it's like one of the best
Best
ever,
records ever. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like it's like I wish to God I'd ever write anything like that.
yeah. It's just
So
so
it's not like
simple.
I'm weighting one over the other. That said, you know, the writing part of it, the Florence part of it,
Yeah,
that part is like it wasn't, I think it wasn't something that at the time that I started to release music and work on this album, it wasn't what anybody needed.
no, I agree. Yeah,
They needed me to do Happier, and I
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's because Clementine is the best. There, like any credit for Happier is just Clementine. I
Clem's
mean,
great.
like I put the cage around it or whatever, but it's just this, like she doesn't need any training wheels.
No, not at all.
She's just a genius.
I've got a record with her that is one of those records that no one's heard, and everybody that hears it is like, this is a hit. But I'm
Yeah,
like, I can't. From what the original record that we wrote together, I can't get that into something that would make sense if I put it out. And it's like,
I hate this.
oh, it's the
This
worst because it's like I want to put out the original. It's a straight up disco record. Like Nile Rodgers would have made it tomorrow.
Just make
Like
another name. It's techno. You can do that.
stick a 4/4 to it.
I
But it,
mean, like, how many names does Richie Houghton have? Like
yeah.
5011? Like, I mean, there's like 65 Moody Man projects. Like, you can do whatever you want to. It's dance music. There's no rules.
Do
And
you think?
nobody's very smart, so it's fine.
do
We won't
you
even know.
do you actually think that though nowadays that we can do anything in a world of everything's so open?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I, I well, there's two things that I know to be true. Nobody knows nothing.
true.
Nobody knows nothing. Like Mercy was not a record I ever would have thought would have done well, and it came out and it was around and I loved it.
Yeah,
Jacob Lusk, Gabriel's, but it just kind of sat there, and then all of a sudden it was on mainstream radio all over Europe.
yeah,
Like it was like a like drive time everyday record all over Italy. And when I went to Italy, I had no idea. And they were like, okay, you're gonna be on like TV, like the news, and then it's gonna be this and this and this and this. And it was like real, it's like and you go in there and there's somebody speaking Italian to you,
yeah.
and then and you're going, uh-huh, 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 and then somebody translates it to you, but like they're standing there too, and it's this
Awkward.
really, and there's a lot of ciao, 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 oi. There's a lot of ciao, Madonna. There's a lot of, but it was like all of a sudden it was like on the real radio and
Yeah,
like regular pop radio, and not even like here we have the BBC, which
we're lucky.
we even on regular pop radio there's still dance music, but it's not like that in the rest of the world.
No, not at all.
I was very surprised.
How did that happen though? Was that
I
literally
don't
like?
know.
Yeah, I love that. I do love that about music.
I mean, I can say that Warner Italy are amazing. Gigi at Warner Italy is a saint,
Mm.
and they have always just very much believed. And Warner UK, I mean, honestly, there are people who will tell you a million terrible things about working with a major. My experience was 98% awesome.
That's amazing. I actually really like that you said that because 98% of people that come on here have said fuck the majors
I mean,
in their experience.
yeah, and that is real for for them.
Yeah.
And look, maybe have me on here in 2 years, and I'll be like, "Fuck these guys." You know,
No, not
I'll be
because
like Ray pulling up to the label I just broke up with the set from the cover of my new album, and you know, like,
well, if you turn into Ray, then I'm all for it. Like
well,
that. That's
Ray, Ray was on the album.
really.
Oh yeah, Ray's the original vocalist on Edge of Saturday Night.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I love that.
you can still hear her in there real quietly. She does the BBs, but her we were kind of coming out with things at the same time. We actually share a
Yeah.
tour manager too.
Oh, really? I guess having Kylie Minogue's a good replacement.
I love Kylie so much.
How did that even happen?
I don't know.
There's a lot of I don't knows, and I love this.
I swear to God, I have no. Well, one of the things that is really important to me in surviving music is to not know things.
Mm,
I don't want to know how the sausage gets made all the time. And and my management, they're so good. They're just kind of always cooking in the background.
yeah.
I'm sure that they sent it to her team. I know Kylie's manager is an angel. I also know that she worked with Tennille High. So that's what I think. All I know is that one day the vocals arrived on my phone, and I was like, Kylie did the rap? You know, in my tracksuit, men still notice. We got Kylie Minogue to say men still notice. Like, that's Ray had said that originally. Ray
Yeah.
wanted to do this little rap, this little middle eight rap, and so we wrote it.
Yeah.
Me and her and Jin Jin, and all the three of us sitting there writing Ray's little rap, and she's like, "Oh, I've got it in my tracksuit. Men still notice," you know, which is so British. I couldn't believe Kylie said it, and then I got her to sing about doing drugs in the bathroom stall.
It's amazing. How does that
Yeah.
feel though? Like I know you'd achieved a lot of things beforehand, right? But Kylie Minogue is not on a different level of where we are all at in life. And that's not me downplaying you, but it's like, what the
I mean,
fuck?
who? There's very.
There's a
She really
handful.
she really only has like two or three peers.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's like Kylie, Madonna,
Yeah,
Cher, like,
yeah.
and I would say Kylie has consistently made the most records that I've loved. She was my first cassette single with
Which
the
one was that?
locomotion.
Quality.
I had it in Eastern Kentucky.
How old was
And,
she then? She must have been young, like 16.
yeah, maybe that was yeah.
Let
I
me
mean,
Google
this had
this.
to be 1986, 87.
Yeah.
I was very young. This is because I had
She
it at
was
my grandparents.
19.
She was 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had it in Eastern Kentucky. I was still regularly not in the city, in Kentucky, which
Yeah.
even the city isn't. I mean, it's a
A
city,
city.
but it's like, you know.
They had
I
tape
mean, I
players
was.
in Kentucky.
Hmm?
They had tape players in Kentucky.
What kind of question is that? It's like when I went to New York the first time. My accent used to be much heavier when I was
Yeah.
younger. I've apparently lost it, which other people would not say that I've lost it. Like, you would tell me I have an accent, and other people in England think I have a strong Southern accent.
Yeah.
And but in Kentucky, they're like, you have completely lost your accent. You're a Yankee. Like that thing that happens when you live in a bunch of places has happened to me.
Just goes all
But
over the
then,
shop.
yeah, then when I go home, it comes back.
Mm.
And my husband mocks me for it. But yes, we had tape. But the first time I went to New York, I had a real heavy Kentucky accent. And I went to this rave. Uh, I was like 16 years old, and I went to the door. I was selling mixtapes, which is a great thing for a 16-year-old to be doing
In New York
in New York
at that time as well.
with no parents, no,
It worked out. It's fine. It worked out.
Dodged a bullet. But I remember this guy going, "Do you have fucking shoes on?" And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Where the fuck are you from, anyways?" And I'm like, "Do not read me like this here."
I love New York for that.
I
New
do
York's still
too.
like that.
Yes, it is. It is. Oh, for sure. Yes. I mean, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I
But
love that city
yeah, I
so
didn't know
much.
I had an accent until I went to New York.
Mm. But the thing is,
Um,
New Yorkers, I can't talk about anything. They're the most. It's like Boston. They're the most strong American accents ever.
oh yeah. Yeah, the real strong Chicago accent
Yeah.
is sort of dissolving.
Mm.
You don't hear it as much.
How do you say pop?
How do I say it?
Yeah. Is it
Like,
pop?
no, no,
Oh
no.
no.
No, I'm from Kentucky. We swallow all our it's pop.
Oh, pop. Yeah, yeah.
We really where I struggle is with the I sound. Island pie
Just carry
because
it
it's
on.
island
Yeah.
pie, and then the worst one is so we have a lot of people. A lot of Southern accents have their own variation on the ooh or the oi sound. Um, and there's a lot. There's a bunch of really good videos of who is it? I want to say maybe is Glorilla from Memphis.
I don't have a clue.
I gotta look this up. I
Gorilla?
think I think this is it. I'm almost positive. There's this incredible thing on
Yeah,
that
she
has been
is. She is.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's this this running thing about her accent.
Beautiful spirit. And I just saw it pop up on my news feed, and I was just happy. I was geek. Why are you laughing? Nothing. I'm sorry. Nah, it popped up on your what? On my news feed. The old nurse feed.
Nurse feed.
I'm familiar with the nurse. I've heard of that before. It's a blessing to have a set of natural Kurt teeth. Yeah. The accent. I've noticed that every
So good.
Yeah, so that's the Memphis twist on it for us. We really have a hard time with the oi sound. The oi, we put an R in there, so it's like go. If you're gonna get an oil change for your car, if you go get an oil change,
Yeah. So good.
or washing machine.
It's all right. You've lost it.
For now, till my
Yeah.
cousin calls me, and then I'll sound like I
Exactly.
walked out of the holler barefoot. So
Yeah. Where I live, I'm from proper farmland as well. So it's when I'm around friends from around this area, it definitely can come out.
yeah, you're
It's,
doing great.
it's a beast that just can be hidden away now and again.
Yeah.
It's way easier. I want to go back to Godspeed. What was the why do an album in a day and age where albums are hard to be commercially successful? I know you nailed it, but
Maybe. I mean, number one, fuck them kids.
yeah,
I don't. Number one, I don't care. Like this is. I've been broke and unbooked and unattended to, and I've been overattended to, and had songs on the radio, and like it's just not something I'm gonna think about.
mm,
There are albums that come out that are brilliant that nobody ever listens to, and there are albums that come out that are kind of. I have this obsession with genius flops or things that flopped at first that in retrospect people look back and they go, wait a minute, like Paul's Boutique.
Yeah.
You know, Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique, perfect record.
Yeah.
I've listened to Paul's Boutique easily 10,000 times.
Yeah.
I had the cassette in Kentucky when they signed to Capitol. And they were coming off the back of Licensed to Ill, which was very like beer party, you know,
Frat
right?
boy vibe. Yeah, yeah.
Right. And they go to Capitol and they're like, surprise, we're going to make this insane thing with the Dust Brothers. And Capitol had this whole kind of like, oh no, the Capitol rooftop building is an iconic building. And that album sunk like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
I mean, they put out Hey Ladies was going to be the hit, which it's a great record. But you know, they've got Adam Yauch doing all their videos. You know, and it's like they just went total chaos mode on their major, and that is my life's purpose. I mean, like, I don't know. I want to make Paul's Boutique, and I don't care if anybody likes it or not. But they'll probably get it later. Like I might be early, but I'm not wrong. Like I think artists, all of us, you know, there's something wrong with all of us.
Totally.
If you can stick around in dance music for like 30 years and most of it not get paid, then there is something in you that is broken and which will never be fixed. you just have to fall in love with it, like you know them guys that work on old cars that never really run right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
tinkerers.
Tinkerers.
Yeah.
Very few people end up, you know, building a NASCAR car or whatever. Like it's just you know. So there's already something wrong with me, and I've been on every side of the thing. The best you can hope for is that someday you will trust yourself. And I totally do. I have been early, but I'm not wrong. I do know what to do. You put me in any room in the world, give me enough time, and I will break their spirit. I might make a record that nobody likes now, but give it 3 years. I mean, there was a record that I made that we had to, all the first records that I made, me and the Stripped and Shoot guys, we just hand stamped them all. And there was one of them that was briefly on Discogs for like $5,000.
Wow.
And I was like,
where's my money?
It was a record that I made, like, you could download the Wave off SoundCloud for 3 years.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything, and all you can do is just think that whatever the thing you're doing is right, and tune out the separate the noise from the signal as much as you can. Oh, and I have a thing, like if you come to the studio and you start talking about money or what's going to be a hit or whatever, session's over.
Yeah. So what I really want to know is, how long did it take you to get to that mindset? Because I know that doesn't happen overnight.
Let's see. I went to my first party in 1993. This is 2005. Like 30 years.
Yeah. Because I think that's the thing, right? It's like, and I can only talk from experience with me. It changes every single day for me. It's like one day I can be exactly like that, and then the next day I'm just like, why is this like not I get jealous sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Or then you get like, what the fuck's going on? My whole life's gone to shit. Like, what is that about?
Well, my dad was a musician, and he always said that jealousy is the artist's disease.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, that part is another thing that I worked really hard because I knew from my dad how paralyzing it was for him.
Yeah.
Like he always kind of saw like it was always like what could have happened or like it was easier to live in a state of potential that didn't have that didn't have a resolution because as long as you stayed in the theoretical,
Yeah.
then you never had to face the consequences of it. And I certainly have been guilty of that. I mean, I would say a lot of that is why the album took so long, but also it was because I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And it took that long to learn how to make an album.
Yeah.
It was not an overnight process. I had never written a song, you know. So there was some of also like I do think that this is what it is, but also you know, some of that like the hard part is when it's come out because then
what?
right.
It's so weird.
That part's hard.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And when an album drops, you could have worked on it for 8 years and somebody's just going to zip through it. And fortunately, I was prepared for that by other people. And also, I had been through such a long process that I had gained a certain amount of confidence over what I felt like it was, and the people that I cared about, I knew what they thought about it.
Yeah.
I know what Jamie Principle thought about it. I know what Nikki Nair thought about it. I know what, you know, there are these people, you know, I never say this kind of thing. I always keep it to myself. But Crystal Waters sent me a message that Count on My Love was a perfect record. And I was like,
you don't need anything else, do you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, you know, like, I don't know. I and that's not always true, but it's mostly true.
Well, I think it's true when it comes to you as an artist in your own skin. I think when it comes to the commerce of music, which is we all live in this weird balance of world of commerce and art, somebody else's opinion that we respect massively in something that's they've achieved huge things in this industry and we look up to, blah 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 blah, that doesn't necessarily mean anything in the commerce sense. But who gives a fuck about that?
Or better yet, people will love something that you've done that you hate.
Oh,
all the time. or someone expects you to make a record that sounds like the last one, and for me that's just never going to happen because what does that even mean?
That's what I'm struggling with right now. That's the one thing that I'm really struggling with right now.
Let me give you a real piece of advice.
Yeah.
Defy it.
Yeah.
Like actively piss on it. We are not here to make people comfortable. We are here to make them uncomfortable. We are here. There's nobody that knows more about you and not just you, but like making records. Like who's better than you? Like like you're like a great producer. You don't need to take feedback from anybody that had an internship at SoundCloud 6 months ago. Fuck that guy.
It's really interesting though, isn't it? Because it's like I was listening to a very random YouTube podcast earlier, and they said some artists create and some distribute.
Oh yeah.
And that like really hit home because it was like, okay, the album is create, right? I truly think the album is a create mode for in any artist, if it is a true album,
I
right?
hope so.
Yeah. But how many of it do we see on a daily basis in our scene where it's just distribute? It's just feed them with the same record over and over and over and over again to have some sort of level of commerce
I
success.
I I I, I have a really great tip. I don't know anything about those people. I don't listen to the music.
Yeah.
One time I was on. I love Tiga.
It's the
Tiga
best.
and I. You would never think that me and Tiga are a lot alike, but we actually kind of come out of. He's at the top of the river, and I'm at the bottom of it. The Canadian techno scene kind of floats down through Detroit and the Midwest and so on and so, like, we swam in the same waters sort of, but also, like, we both come out of like dirtbag raver stuff. And one time me and Tiga were on a plane, and he goes, "Hey, let me ask you something. I'm going to talk to you about how you organize your music." And I was like, "Well, this is going to be a real short conversation because I don't know how Record Box works. I don't want to know. I don't like. They keep trying to teach me, and I'm like, I don't really like. I don't really want to know. I'm fine. I'm good. Like, it's fine. They're right there in the folder. I look at it. I see the name. I know what to do. I play it like a record. It's fine. Been doing this." And he's like, "But then how do you organize like genres?" Like, well, I've got like, like 12, 12 general things. And I'm like, one's kind of like jungle, and then there's one that's like, jack and or techno. One's kind of like hard techno. Then there's housey house, but then there's deep house, and then there's like disco, but then there's also a genre that I just have marked as electric slash muscle, because it's sort of like muscle disco. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like 10 folders or something. And he goes, "Well, what do you do with your tech house?" And I was like, "Put it in the trash." He just couldn't even. I was like, "Why are you even listening to that shit?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. I'm not going to say who it is, but there was someone who is very famous, and something I did made someone that I work with say, "Oh, it's so funny. It's like whoever this
Yeah.
shall remain nameless, whatever." And I said, "Who?" And he started laughing, and he's like, "Oh God, we gotta text Oliver. Oliver's never." He was like, "Wait, you seriously don't know who this is?" Never heard of that. What are you talking about? It's like, "Yeah, well, where's this thing?" And there's this thing, and I'm like, I it's like that Kiki Palmer meme. "Sorry to this man. I would not know this man if he was walking down the street." Like, I mean, I could not. And then I went back and I realized that I'd played with
That person.
who shall remain nameless, like at least 20 times
Wow.
over a period of years. I was like, I'm going to look on Resident Advisor and see. Never once is this kind of like, no, there's no there. Honestly, those people that just make content or they distribute, I just don't even know they exist.
I fucking love that
Fuck them.
mindset.
Who cares? They'll either be here in 5 years or they won't, or they'll be fucked off to whatever. Like, I mean, one of the nice things about being old in dance music is you have seen a lot of people get really famous and then leave.
Yeah.
And usually they don't even stick around that long.
You forget about it as well, right? Because I think it's on to the next, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just
just be disrespectful.
it's just
Because,
very
because
business.
a lot of them are just like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's not my business, not my problem.
Do you ever, with your records, especially on the album, did you play every single one of them in a DJ set? Was there ever a point where you're like, this doesn't actually work in my sets?
Oh yeah, I mean, and a lot of things got workshopped through that. Like
Yeah.
there was virtually, and some of those songs are not DJ set songs.
No.
The,
My whole
and
album wasn't.
I, I like, well, there were some. I mean, I would say most songs on that album, conservatively, 30 versions.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was to make it more like, how is it going to work? Maybe not even like in a club setting, but like how I wanted to make something that had a kind of cohesion to it, like Homework did. I was always thinking about Homework.
That was gonna literally be my next question.
Oh yeah, that was.
We all have a couple of reference tracks or reference albums that we're not trying to copy. We're trying to make the feeling, right?
Yeah, well, so I sort of know those guys, and I've been.
I wish I had a Zane Lowe bomb thing there. I kind of know those guys.
Well, I mean, so like at the beginning of making the album, I was really worried that I wouldn't know how to make it, and so I asked, "Can we get an adult, who has done this, to like just look at it, like somebody real smart? Like it doesn't even have to be a dance people. Like, can we just like somebody's got to know somebody? Like who knows Rick Rubin or whatever? Like I did this little list. I'm like, here are some geniuses, and." Which is, looking back at it, is like, what a completely ridiculous thing to like even ask for.
Is it though? Because I think that's it. You're approaching it in a situation that you don't know. So it's like, why not go to the best people in the world to work out how?
So on that point, so I have met Tomas and Guy before. They would not have remembered me from meeting me because I was very quiet and afraid of them.
Yeah.
They were at my house for a barbecue in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
In 2007 for the Lollapalooza, the first big Triangle Pyramid tour. They had a connection to Reddick that I worked for at Dust Tracks, and I lived in the Dust Tracks house, where Dust Tracks used to be all, and the distributor Soul Unlimited was all inside this one house in Avondale in Chicago. This house they call West Eddy, but it's just the name of the street. They don't live there anymore, so I'm not messing anybody's stuff up here. But that house was crazy. In the beginning, Reddick lived in there with like his like sister and his parents, but then the basement became Dust Tracks, and it was like Tommy Sunshine was working there, and Dust Tracks was A&R'd by Paul Johnson.
Yeah.
How did they get him down there? Because it was in the basement. There was, anyways. There was a lot of when you worked at Dust Tracks. There was a lot of getting Paul into inaccessible wheelchair places. There's a big part of.
Was he in a wheelchair then?
Paul's always been in a wheelchair.
Has he always been in one?
Since he was a kid, yeah.
I didn't know he always was.
Yeah, there was a spinal cord injury involving a gun. It wasn't like he did something, but Paul had been in a wheelchair the entire time that I knew him, which was from 94 until he passed away. By the time I moved to Chicago and moved into the Dust Tracks house, Dust Tracks had moved into a warehouse. But for many years, all of the stock was kept in the basement of West Eddy, but then also a bunch of other garages that Reddick rented from the other Polish neighbors. It's a Polish neighborhood, like the bank signs in Polish, and the dog only speaks Polish.
Yeah.
So my Polish is very specific. It's not very useful unless you're talking to a dog, or like, I don't know, if you were like doing S&M with somebody that was only a Polish. Sit! Go to the kitchen! Like very specific dog stuff. But so Reddick had always said he'd maintained that he knew Daft Punk because he lived over here in London. There, at one point, Dust Tracks was here, and this is I think was also around the same time that Derek Carter lived here.
Okay,
For classic. This is that era, this Y2K era.
Yeah.
And Reddick had come home because there was a kerfuffle at Dust Tracks with the American office, and he didn't come back. They shut down the British wing, and but you had always heard that Reddick knew Daft Punk, and it's the world, it's dance music. You kind of like go like, is that for real? Like, I mean, do you know him or did you see him or did whatever? It was like, and I had kind of, I mean, I knew that he knew somebody because DJ Falcon showed up at our house once. And we went to Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
He called, and Reddick, DJ Falcon has a real name, but Reddick calls him Bob. And I don't know what the story is, but he calls Bob. So I knew it wasn't complete bullshit. I mean, Falcon's over at the house and he's showing us pictures of like Sofia Coppola's baby shower. So it's like, okay,
you might
maybe this is he's a really good photographer. And then one day I was at the office at Dust Tracks during Lollapalooza, which is like Hell Week in Chicago. It's 4,000 degrees. Every club is rammed. There's nothing but after parties. The traffic's terrible. It's like if Glastonbury was in London. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody had fucked off for the weekend, more or less. It was Friday. And Reddick called me and he goes, you got to come home, but stop at the grocery store on the way and get whatever it is you get to make that macaroni and cheese that I like. And then like whatever you want to make, we're going to have a picnic at the house. And I'm like, okay, fine. He goes, yeah, so the French guys are coming over. I'm thinking like, I'm thinking like Falcon, like, like I'm thinking Bob's coming back.
Yeah.
That was not wrong. Bob did come back, but hand to God, and I have photographic evidence of this, which I will show the world someday. They pulled the tour bus up in front of our house in the suburbs in Chicago. All these little bungalows. Like, this is not a metropolitan area.
So good.
Like above ground swimming pool in the backyard, and I knew it was serious because we didn't have air conditioning, and Reddick went and bought an air conditioner. I thought, shit. And they did. They pulled the tour bus up in front of the house, and we had this barbecue with Tomas and Guy, and also like everybody else that all the other dudes. And this is like that like crazy year of like peak blog, like MIA and everybody and all at the same parties. Like it was just like it was crazy, and they took us. They wanted to go out to a club, and this club was closing, and they just opened it and locked the door and let us all in there. And all these groupies were trying to figure out which French guy to suck off. I just call him like I see him, man.
What is it about the French that they're just so good?
They're cool.
They're so
cool. They're just so suave, and they all smoke. Like I hate smoking, but somehow when they do it, it looks cool.
It's cool. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like I'm like they're the only cool smokers. Like, what is this?
It's like when a French girl smokes, I'm like, it's so sexy.
That's
like,
so
why?
right. Yeah. Right? And so at the beginning of the album, one of the people that we asked was Tomas, and he sent this very long, gracious message back that I had printed out onto a canvas and I stuck on the wall in my studio, which just got robbed. And it's like him saying why he can't be a part of it, and he was working on the opera thing. It was interesting to see all the things that he
mind. Yeah.
Well, I just kind of assumed it was bullshit. I just thought I wouldn't work with me either. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, he did this incredible thing. That's amazing. And so I ended up just kind of, it was like, well, it's just going to be you in the end.
Pull up those bootstraps
and I say that I have to say it was not just me. There were very, very. It is that album is exactly what it sounds like it is. There are things that people brought, pieces of stuff that somebody like the conundrum you're in, like I can't use this. Can you write something over it? Can you write words for, that Count on My Love had been like three other people, parts of it had been like
Really?
three other people's thing, but it had been passed over and rejected. And then I wrote it, like the words, all that part. I wrote the hook on the toilet. So there were all those things, but I have to say the most important person in the making of the album is my partner, Pat. When I met Pat, he was what they impolitely call the T-boy at a studio that I was renting. And one week we got left alone in there and actually started talking. And I found out, he had come over here from Argentina in the middle of COVID with no money and just the hope that something good would happen.
Legend. I actually wanted to talk to you about him.
Yeah.
It was on my list because every record that Pat was on the album, and I'm not too sure if he was on every record, but every record that he's got credit on, the production's fucking silly. It's silly.
So I would say there are times where you can really hear what we sound like together.
Yeah.
Pat separately sounds very different. If you listen to his Solid Wall stuff that he does with Lucas, it's like wildly different. It's much more kind of UK bassy, but there is no part of that record that we didn't touch together, and the end of it was just me and him alone in the room for about 60 hours in 3 days. And on the last day, because there's that beginning where I'd been caught on a hot mic talking about the Quincy Jones thing, and Pat always had a picture of Quincy Jones stuck into the back of his iPhone case. And on the last day, just as we were finishing, and I'd gone in, I had laid it out as one file because I didn't want to have any discussion about how it would be arranged, and the clock ticking, all of that stuff. That was all like final, like that was like the last 3 days. And Godspeed, which became the title track, was done in the last 2 days. And I had forgotten that I wrote the words to it. I had written them on tour while I was blacked out on Ambien, half asleep. And I texted them in the middle of the night from Bali to Pat. And I was like, Pat, we got to make this record to be called Godspeed. The Kelly Hand, Paul Johnson. Just don't forget, okay? I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Completely forgot for like 6 months. And then we had started this other little track that the music part of it, Con was there, and like, who was it? Patchouli Brothers. There's a lot of, at that point, it was just people coming in and out and in and out. And somebody might just literally say, hey, that's a good thing or that's a bad thing. And I was like, Pat, I know who to call. I'm going to call Eclipse in Chicago. And I sent him a little voice note. I'm like, yo, do it just like this. Then he's like, yeah, bet. I'm at home. I'll do the thing. And he sent it back like 30 minutes later. And then we finished it. And on the day we finished it, it was Quincy Jones's birthday. And we both cried. We cried so hard. I mean, Pat and I were locked in a room together for 3 years.
Yeah.
And we still talk now. I mean, we share a studio and we work together all the time. I work on his stuff. We work on other people's stuff. We write people's pop albums, blah, 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 blah. But also we FaceTime like 3 times a day.
Love that. There's something real about when you're writing an album with somebody, how tight you can actually get, because it's not just going into a session and then leaving for the day. It's like those sessions last for ages. You really give, it's therapy in
For
one.
sure, for sure. And I mean, we were dealing with like audio of my dad who had just died, and writing about him and dealing with it. And it's all kind of like, it's my dad, it's God, it's, you know, all of the greatest hits, you know, big time daddy issues, and that kind of creative intimacy with him. Pat's not a lyric writer. He will tell you that. The other day he called me like 1 a.m, and Uffy had showed up at the studio, and they're like, "We need to write words for this." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm on FaceTime with them from bed, like, "Okay, do this thing," you know, sending voice notes. My husband comes out of his room. He's like, "Can you do that more quietly?"
Can you shut up?
He's like, "It's 1 a.m. Can you just not be doing a top line? Can you not be writing for Pat Nuffy in bed at 1 a.m? Speaking of time, I have to go because I'm a crazy person who's in therapy.
And you got therapy
1 minute ago.
Game on, dude.
Thank you so much.
Like, really, really appreciate it. It was amazing.
A million kisses to you, and thanks for having me. And we still gotta make a record.
We will.
Okay.
When the time's right, we'll do it.
Love ya.
Love ya. Keep safe. Bye.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for the lovely Maria for coming on. I love that podcast. I'm pretty sure you all love it as well. If you are listening now, please subscribe. Please give us some comments. Please give us a review. Please share it with your gran or whoever you want to share it with. Love you lots. Till next time.